All right, what's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to the QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're talking about LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels and recapping arguably the best quarterback performance of Week 3, and that was his performance against Mississippi State. If this is your first time tuning in, this is the Big Quarterback Hub. We talk all things quarterbacks, from these recap videos to preview videos to quarterback live shows to guests that are current and former quarterbacks that come on the show. So if you like quarterback content or college football fan in general, and you're interested in that type of content, please feel free to subscribe and follow us along. But anyways, with that said, let's talk LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels. Probably the best quarterback performance of the whole weekend, right? I mean, there was nothing he could do that went wrong. Like everything he did, everything he touched had success. And Mississippi State wasn't really even in the game at all, right when LSU was able to get the ball. There was just nothing they could do to stop LSU's receivers. Jayden Daniels had a large hand and played a large role with it, right? So real quick, overall theme of Daniels was he had the ability to distribute the ball through the whole field. He was able to hit vertical shots, able to hit underneath shots. He beat Mississippi State in so many different ways, right? It wasn't just his ability to scramble and use his legs or just buy time with his legs or improvise. He did it in every single way possible. So I think that was the biggest takeaway. There wasn't just like one thing that really stood out. And we're going to dive into these different niches, and we're going to dive into probably one or two clips at the very end that kind of do a good job demonstrating the overall takeaway. But he was able to do everything well, right? He was able to scramble and use his legs. He was able to go straight drop back pass and hit vertical shots deep. Very accurate. He was able to drop straight back and take what the defense gave him, hit underneath type throws. He dominated the whole game in that aspect. So let's look at the stat line real quick. 30 of 34, 361 yards in the air, 10.2 yards per attempt. His completion percentage was 88, right? I don't know if it was the record or one of the records, but if it wasn't the records, definitely up there for LSU quarterbacks. But he was just so accurate in every throw possible. And he also had 64 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. So probably his best overall performance as an LSU quarterback. I know he had a lot of good games last year, right? From Ole Miss to Tennessee to Florida. But this may have been the best performance as far as like full domination for Jayden Daniels. So let's look at all that in a bit more detail. Let's look at the downfield throws first, because I think that was probably the most impressive part. His ability to hit some vertical shots, to take those deep throws, and to give his receivers a chance. Obviously, Malik Neighbors had a huge day, and he dominated as well. It helps when you're the quarterback throwing to Neighbors and Thomas and those type of receivers. But still, the ball had to be put there, and the ball had to be decided to throw that, and that's exactly what Daniels did. So on throws of 20-plus yards down the field yesterday, or depending when you're watching it this past weekend, Daniels was 4-4 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. On throws 10-plus yards down the field, or 10 to 19 yards, he was 3 or 4, right? So he only threw 8 passes or 8 balls that were more than 10 yards down the field. So you're like, okay, he didn't take a ton of vertical shots, sure, but he was 7 of 8 with those vertical shots, only missed on 1, had 2 touchdowns, and had over 200 yards passing just on those 7 throws alone. So you don't need to take deep shot after deep shot whenever you are up early in the game and you keep that lead and you complete on those throws. And even on the underneath throw, right? Yeah, he hit those vertical shots deep, but something else to point out was his ability and his decision making to take what the defense gives him. He always does a pretty good job with that. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot, but he took what the defense gave him yesterday. He was 18 of 20 with throws between 0 and 10 yards. So that tells me that not only was he taking the shots when they were there, but when they weren't there, he had no problem just dumping it off, right? Something else he's able to do, he found the matchups. He exposed the difference as far as like talent goes. He exposed the difference on level of play from Mississippi State's DBs and secondary to LSU's receivers. I think LSU's receivers were really able to show out yesterday and show that they're always talked about being one of the best groups in the nation. They were able to show that yesterday. So he found the matchups, and Mississippi State's DBs just couldn't hang with LSU's receivers yesterday. And the last thing that he did really, really well on, at least the kind of takeaway for me, is he distributed the ball all over the field. He wasn't just sitting one side of the field. He had over 50 yards passing outside the left numbers. He had over 120, 160 yards passing right over the right side of the numbers, and he had 120-plus yards passing inside the numbers, so in the middle of the field. So he was able to attack from outside left, outside right, to middle of the field, or inside the numbers. So he's able to attack all over the field, which made it even tougher for Mississippi State's DBs to defend, because they had to defend the whole field, right? So I think the big takeaway, the theme for me, was Daniel was able to dominate in every area of being a quarterback. He was able to dominate on everything he needed to dominate as it related to being a quarterback. He was able to use his legs. He ran when he needed to. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 64 yards on the ground. But then he was able to throw every part of the field. And then he was able to scramble and throw. He was able to do a straight drop backs and throws. There wasn't anything he wasn't able to do against Mississippi State's defense. And that's what led to him having one of the best games of his career, probably, at least that I've been able to watch. But for sure, I think probably the best quarterback performance of week 3. But if you're an LSU fan or Mississippi State fan or just a fan in general, let me know your thoughts below on Daniels' performance. We'll talk about him more in the live show that we got coming up tonight. If you're interested, just we're recapping the whole quarterback play of week 3. But we'll watch one clip that kind of does a good job demonstrating everything we talked about. I know there's so many different things, so we'll probably watch one of his accurate throws that was deep to Neighbors. But with that said, please like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really does help. And let's go ahead and watch this clip. So let's go ahead and show Daniels' first touchdown pass. This was end of the first quarter, like 3 minutes left. This got them the lead to be 10-0. But it's a fade ball to Neighbors from the slot. It's a good anticipation throw, right? Straight drop back, 6 yards in the air. Throws the ball to where Neighbors can make a play, and it's exactly what he does. So we'll go ahead and watch it here. And again, this is broadcast footage, so I apologize. It's kind of grainy. We can't watch it full speed. I do apologize. But it's the best we can do, and hopefully it gets us a still demonstrates the point, right? You got one up top safety. He's not able to come over here enough in time. Slot corner here, and watch. It's the anticipation factor, right? Now the ball is about to come out. You can kind of see it on the screen. If he's leaving, we call it. So the ball is about to come out deep here. Boom, in the air. Can you kind of see? And then, boom, able to make a great catch. But a good ball thrown it where Neighbors can get it. And there were several throws like this that Daniels made. But again, just demonstrating the fact that good anticipation throw and just a good ball overall downfield. So yeah, that's what we got on Daniels. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, liking, all that YouTube stuff. It really does help. And we'll see you next time. Peace.